Hey guys, this is the Revolving Battle Fox here, and I am back with another video, this time talking about conventions and roommates. And is it a wise idea to go to a convention if you absolutely need roommates? And first off, I want to say I know I said in my last video, my next video will most likely be talking about the weather in my series titled like cosplay, how I choose which conventions I want to go to. I know I said I was going to do that video next, but this was kind of on my mind to do, and I figured let me do it, and I think it's a good discussion to be had. And when I talk about conventions, I'm going to be talking about in the scope of cosplay conventions or conventions dealing with like pop culture, such as like anime or comic cons or gaming conventions, stuff like that. But I still think it is a good discussion to have, even if you are going to like different business type of conventions or food conventions or whatever kind of conventions you're into. But obviously, if you're new to this channel, I focus on like a lot of like cosplay type stuff, so that's where my focus is going to be when it comes to at least conventions. So conventions and roommates. Is it really a wise idea to go to a convention if you absolutely need roommates? And I'm not here to be like the final judge on like and determine you have no business going to a convention. Ooh, I got an email. But anyways, like I said, I'm not here to like judge anyone or to be like a final judge or be like, act as the Pope or something, or like a lawmaker in, like for some unwritten cosplay or convention rule. I'm not here to say you don't deserve to go to a convention if you need roommates, because the roommate scene is a big one when it comes to cosplay conventions, anime conventions. I'm gonna just use the term anime conventions, and when I say anime, I'm just gonna mean that to be all encompassing of like gaming and pop culture. It's just easier to say anime conventions. So, with that being said, the scene is big for roommates. I'm in several cosplay conventions. There I go again. I'm in several anime convention groups on Facebook, and a lot of them look for roommates, and in my opinion, rightfully so. For the first time ever this year, I kind of dabbled in trying to find a roommate, and actually got 2 roommates. And praise the Lord, they were good. They were awesome roommates. I love them. But you know what? I also told myself, even though having these roommates will help save me a lot, and I mean a lot of money, especially since I go to a lot of these things, I already had a plan in mind to sorry, my OCD is bugging me. I want to check this email real quick. But all right, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, I had it in my, it was a thought in my mind to tell me, listen, I'm still going to save up as if I don't have a roommate. And listen, this is just my personal opinion. I'm not saying you need to take this as a rule or anything, but my personal rule is, if I don't have the money to pay for a hotel by myself, if I have to depend on a roommate to help go to a convention, then again, this is just for me personally. I'm not talking about anyone else but myself, but in my opinion, for me personally, I don't have any business going to that convention if I cannot pay for a room for myself. If I absolutely have to rely on a roommate or 2 or 3 or 4 to go to a convention, well, you know what? I got to focus on my budget and my priorities, because for me, I clearly have no business being at that convention if I can't afford to pay for it by myself. And don't get me wrong, if you're going to some place and you're staying at like a host hotel for Anime Expo, I get it. I really do. It costs a lot. Depending on where you stay, it could cost anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000 something dollars. maybe even more, depending on how long you stay. And not to mention if you're going to a lot of these things. And let's face it, while there are some people who are well off and they have jobs that can support these type of things, listen, I work in a factory. I do non-skilled manual labor. I'm not making that much money. So I have to really think about where my resources are going, and I really have to think about the conventions I go to, check out my cosplay, and how I look for which anime conventions I want to go to playlist. But like I said, I have to really think about the cons I go to, and if I need roommates to go to those cons, I probably ain't got no business going to them. Now, don't get me wrong, will I still look for roommates? Absolutely, if I don't have my nephew with me or my sister with me going. And I know there's different people, and this video really isn't scripted. I'm just kind of speaking. I don't really know where I'm going with this, or I don't have like a set thing to talk about, like we're going to hit this bullet point in this. So we're just going to rock with it. But there are people like in these Facebook groups, although many of them do like to do roommates. There's like a spectrum of people, I've noticed. And there's like the spectrum of people on this end that, and neither of them are necessarily right or wrong, but you got people on this side, they're saying they don't want to room with strangers, it's uncomfortable, it's dangerous. And I can get that, because I was in that position before, and truth be told, I still am in that position. Well, listen, rooming with roommates, that could be a hit or a miss. And that is a lot of stress in that. Although, rooming by yourself, even though you likely have more peace in that, for the most part, or at least for me, it is a hefty price to pay. Especially if you have like 2 bedrooms and someone else can share it. But if you don't have like your own crew to go with, trying to find strangers online to help you share a room, it can be nerve-wracking. Especially with different personalities and stuff. And I remember when I was going through the process of trying to find a roommate online, at least for Anime Week in Atlanta this year. I had a couple of people, and before I found the 2 awesome roommates that I have, thank God. But you deal with so many personalities, and I think the first person I dealt with, they were like, I'm gonna need you to respect my stuff and my space, and to respect, like, I am a photographer, and I need you to not go in the corner where my photography is, because this stuff is expensive. And just stern, and just kind of coming off as a standoffish, and it's like, it's no offense, but I really don't know you like that. But meanwhile, I'm looking like, you're the one who said you needed a roommate and you wanted to room at the host hotel. I mean, which is cool, because I have no business, messing with your photography stuff, and that's not something that would bother me. I could tiptoe over it, but it's like, really, you're coming off as a jerk when you're asking for help. So, then I had another person after that, and it's like, I think the conversation, it was a miscommunication, but I did mention how, I'm looking for people who are, what's the code for a female assigned at birth, someone who's a biological woman. And this person, they're like, you're narrowing people down to their genitals, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. Last time I checked, people, I try to be open-minded, and honestly, if I walk down the street, I'm aware of what I look like. I don't wear feminine clothes. I don't wear feminine clothes or anything, and honestly, I know if I walk down the street, or just even in my normal life, people will assume that I'm a lesbian. That's just how it is. I wear male clothes, and I guess my aura is kind of more of like a male-ish demeanor. That's just what people are going to assume. So it's just like, it ain't like I don't even know how you explain it. Um, yeah, but you get the picture. It's like, so I'm open-minded, but I mean, this person, they got their views, and I'm just like, well, this is what makes me feel comfortable, I prefer to have a female in the room. I love trans people. But you got your things that make you feel comfortable. Some people are into certain races. To date and marry, does that make them a racist if they don't want to like marry someone else? Or marry someone outside of their race? No. In my opinion, I mean, you prefer what you prefer, and if I'm in a room, if I'm going to be spending my room or my time in a room with strangers, and I know I'm kind of getting off topic, like I said, I'm just kind of hitting all the darts and stuff, hitting a whole bunch of points, but buckle up, because I am trying to make a conclusion, hopefully. So, yeah, it's just. Meanwhile, one of the roommates I had was like, thank God it's an all-girls room. So it's different perspectives and different personalities. And when you have to deal with so many emotions like that, and God forbid you get the wrong person in your room, I can understand the people on this side who say, listen, I'd rather just have all the money by myself, room by myself, or room with a spouse or whatever, room alone, room with family, and have that peace instead of worrying about the many different personalities of roommates, or even a roommate, because people, they have multiple personalities nowadays. I can get that, and in my opinion, or for me personally, I'm still kind of in that mindset. However, as I go to more conventions, and that's my goal, to go to more conventions, I realize that, yeah, having roommates is the way to go if I kind of want to do more of these. But again, I still want to have the money. I want to be able to save the money if I can. But like I said, you got the people who are on this side. And sorry, I'm not the best orator, but people on this side say no strangers, no roommates like that, no way. While you got people on this side, they're like, yeah, we're gonna stuff this room. I've stuffed this room up to 20 people, 15 people, 17 people, like 24 people, and we all paid like what, $10 each, $30 each for the whole time. Like, okay, am I outside of the possibility of room stuffing like that? I wouldn't say I'm totally out of that possibility, but it's like, bro, that's a lot. That's a lot of people. First off, that's a fire hazard, and most hotels will not allow that. They will kick you out. But if you're stuffing rooms and you got like 8 or more people in a room that's designed for 4, maybe 5 people, 6 if you're pushing it, and then you got like 10 to 12 people in there, I'm not gonna feel comfortable. Who wants to take a dump in there of all of those people? Someone's gonna be in that room at all around the clock. You're not going to go in there and someone not be in there, most likely, until maybe checkout. And even then, who knows, you might have a couple of stragglers. But who wants to take a dump in there with like 1,800 other people, and then they all know it was you? And then you got to deal with not everyone has the best hygiene standards, and I'm a germaphobe, so I freak out if I find like a hair in there. I've had videos of me going to different hotels and finding like a hair or something, and I'm just like freaking out. This was at Anime Expo. You can check that out if you want. If you want a link to that video, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to send it to you. But so yeah, you got all those different types of people, and that's a mess in like the bathroom. I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to imagine it right now, and that's. Like I said, I'm not outside the realm of possibility to do that, but that's like a 10% chance. I just don't think I could take that risk. So we have people over here that say no roommates, pay the whole thing. We have people over here that says stuff this room till kingdom come. Stuff it as much as we can. We're going to cram ourselves like sardines. And then you have people in the middle, which I feel like I'm kind of in the middle, but my meter's kind of leaning towards this side some. And that's, hey, let's find some roommates. No more than what the hotel allows, which is, I think is like maximum 4. 5 is pushing it, but I might be comfortable with 5 if someone's willing to sleep on the floor. Now, should they pay full price if they're sleeping on the floor? I don't know. That's another conversation. But outside of that, I really wouldn't feel comfortable room stuffing. But hey, 2 strangers could share a bed, and me and someone else could share a bed. Like I said, if we want to stuff one more in there, if everyone else is cool with that, that's something I could look into, and that could save a heck of a lot of money. That could save over $300, $400 right there, total. And yeah, it's definitely something I feel more comfortable doing. And I think, I don't know. I think more people are kind of leaning to room stuffing. But I still think there are some people who are like, okay, let's just keep the maximum we can have in that room. And then you got to be careful, because some conventions, after the second person, they'll charge you like an extra $60 that night. So you really got to determine if getting a roommate is worth it at that point. And of course, you could try to like illegally stuff it or whatever, or just don't put them down. But you also got to think about how many key cards you can have. And obviously, I'm not really an advocate of like breaking the rules. So I think for me, I'd just go ahead and, if I was going to go that route, just, hey, put them on the list and pay the extra $60 a night, whatever. But, yeah. I know I said I had a conclusion with this, but I really don't know if I have much more to say on the matter. But I think I really wanted this to be more like a discussion. Like I said, I told you guys what I want to do. And just because I'm like in the middle, doesn't mean I don't have my concerns. Like the concerns I talked about earlier. Finding a roommate is so stressful. That's why like if I do get roommates, it's like I gotta pray. And you know what? I ain't ashamed of it. Yeah, I pray about these things. I'm like, Lord, if this ain't your will, bust it up. If these ain't the roommates for me, then bust it up, because I don't want nothing to do with them. But for Anime Weekend Atlanta this year, I had roommates and they were awesome. And honestly, if it wasn't for them, we kind of have more or less kind of a plan to get together next year and go. And if I can get to Waverly, the host hotel for Anime Weekend Atlanta next year. But honestly, if it wasn't for them, I probably consider skipping it, because I feel like Anime Weekend Atlanta is just more of like a hangout con. But if it wasn't for them probably wanting to go, them and then the awesome maid cafe there, I might have just skipped it. But you know what? Even if they can't make it, I'll still plan on going. And I'll still plan on saving like usual. I like to be prepared, because for one thing, for conventions, especially if you go to a lot of them, in my personal opinion, for me, I never want to leave my my financial sanity in the hands of others, if that makes sense. I never want to leave my financial sanity in the hands of others. If someone drops out, I want to be able to say, hey, I still have the money. I can still do this. For me, it would be nerve-wracking if I am depending on roommates to go to this con. And if one roommate backs out, that could throw me for a loop financially. And it might be to a case where I might have to cancel. Or find somewhere quick and get like a guy in there or something. I mean, and guys are cool, but like I said, I prefer females. People that's not female at birth. Call me a sexist or whatever. But that's just me. But I don't want to have to scramble to find another roommate if I can help it. Granted, accidents happen, or emergencies happen, and people have to drop out, and that's cool. And I'll still try to find someone, of course, but push comes to shove, I don't want to have to cancel that room because I cannot come up with my end of the bill. No, if everyone drops out, I want to be able to say, well, even if I couldn't find another roommate, boom, I can still afford it. It's still paid for. I don't have to worry about it. Now, it sucks because I won't be getting the extra money to put towards buying random things at the con, or even putting towards the next con or whatever, or even getting me through my paying off my bills afterwards. But hey, it would be like, thank God I got it, because I try to be responsible. And again, I know things could happen with me. It might be a situation where I have to depend on a roommate, but I'm going to try my best not to. And I know there's a situation, I'm not going to name any names or corporations, or not corporations, but business or anything, where this year, Anime Week in Atlanta, I wanted to do some photography for my Akihiko shoot. Because I cosplayed my own version of Akihiko Sanada from Persona 3, and if you're wondering, that's where the white hair came from. So I put the reservation down after asking a bunch of questions, because I've never done a photo shoot before. And so this particular dude's photo shoot was like, I think $90 for what I got. Something like that, $80. I ended up paying $90 because I had a person with me, and I wanted them to be in it. But you know what? I had got my hair done, and then I realized that, my hairstylist, she couldn't find the right hair, because I wanted white to be at the top of my head, and I know this is kind of odd for me to do, and trust me, I won't do it often where I show my head. But you see where that's black, I gotta get this stuff taken out. But money issues. Gotta wait till the money's good, especially during the holidays. But I wanted this stuff to be white, and it's like you can't really see it in the camera, but it's not really white up here. The type of hair she had only had the hair where it's white towards the bottom, and that made me really self-conscious. And I canceled the photo shoot. Now I only got $60 back because of the non-refundable deposit. That's cool, whatever. And then he said he was supposed to pay me by, I think, either that night or tomorrow. It turns out he didn't pay me that. So after the con, I was like, hey, what gives? In a nice way. Like, I'm checking on the status of my refund, because you don't want to be a jerk about those type of things. And he was like, oh, sorry, we had somebody drop out of our hotel and I had to pay for that. I wanted to be heated. I wanted to blow this guy out, because first off, that's not my problem. You said you was going to give me my non-refundable, you're going to give me the refund minus the non-refundable deposit. Why are you using my money for your issue? Your failure to plan is that is it should not be of any concern to me, because honestly, that's not my problem. And I just now got my money back yesterday, and it's like, honestly, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go to this dude to get a photo shot done ever again. But that's not the point to slander this guy or anything. That's why I said I'm gonna keep him anonymous. But it's like, first off, you put yourself in a position where you have to rely on somebody because they dropped out at the last minute. And to my knowledge, I think this guy, he actually got his own hotel. I think he tends to book his own hotel and gets roommates in. So I don't really think it was a thing of him linking up with somebody in their other hotel. But if this is true, like, you put yourself in a position as a businessman where you had to use my money to make up for somebody else's, I don't want to say lack of commitment or dropout. First off, that's highly unprofessional. And if I'm raising my voice, because I ain't gonna lie, it pisses me off, because that's my money. And then he had something wrong with his PayPal. He couldn't give it to me 2 weeks from then. So I almost had to wait about a month to get my $60 back. So it's like, that is highly unprofessional. And you're in a business where you're taking people's monies for a service, and you can't refund them back in a timely manner because someone dropped out and you needed the money to pay for that. Highly inappropriate, in my opinion. And yeah, it gets me heated because I need my money. Like, that money's should go towards MomoCon or GalaxyCon or whatever. And I know this video is kind of long. Hey, happy belated Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoy the background noise. But yeah, my point is, he put himself in a position where I guess he was gonna be screwed, if he's telling me the truth. That he was gonna be screwed if he didn't have that money. That's not a position I want to be in. And I use him for an example. And of course, I wasn't a jerk. I wasn't a douchebag to him at all. Because, you're dealing with my money, and I ain't trying to have him take my money and just run off. I got my money back, thank God. But still, highly unprofessional. And me, as someone who works hard for my money and whatnot, it's like, this first I'll give me my money. But back to the topic at hand. I don't want to be in a situation where if someone drops out, I'm going to be screwed. That's going to greatly hamper my time at the convention in some type of way. I don't want that to be a factor for me. Will I look for roommates? Absolutely. Will I screen them? Absolutely. Or at least I'll try to have some discernment. And like, I can't talk. And of course, I'll let them screen me. Like, hey, if you want to check me out, I try to be transparent. I'm like, hey, I have a YouTube channel. You could check me out. And not only that, we could do Skype conversation. It hasn't happened to where someone's wanted to do that yet, but I'm sure it will as I go to more cons. Maybe. I don't know. I really can't have too many roommates for the cons I go to where I take my nephew because, my sister would kill me if something happened to him. Or she'd probably just kill me if I let a stranger just room up in there with him. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I might need to cut the plug on him. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah. But in the situation where I would need a roommate like AWA, which I think right now that's the only con, because if, like I said, if my nephew or my sister's rooming with me, there's no way I can get a roommate. That's just how it is. But for like a con like AWA, yeah, I think roommates, and just roommates in general, it can be a good thing. You just gotta be safe about it, and just, if you're thinking about it, take my advice with a grain of salt, but still consider it. If you have to, I'm begging you, try not to depend on a roommate if you can help it. If you are hosting a room, make sure you can generate the income you need or to earn the money for the hotel. That way, if somebody drops out for whatever reason, you still have the money. But if you decide to be a rogue coyote and just depend on roommates, and I guess you're not really being a rogue coyote. I just wanted to say rogue coyote because that sounds cool for Metal Gear Solid anyways. But if you want to do it the other way, I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I just think it's a little bit more safer financially, or just for your own mental stability or peace, or however you want to call it. Just for your own sanity. I just think it's a little bit more safer to just be sure you're able to pay for it by yourself. Man, I can't believe this video has almost been 30 minutes. I'm kind of sorry it's kind of long, but hey, I like videos like this where I can really speak my mind, no matter how long it takes to get there. But that's how I view things. Now let's have a discussion about this, because this is something I really want to talk about, and I think it's something that needs to be talked about more in the cosplay community when it comes to roommates. So, just don't watch this video and get what you want and then leave. That'll make me sad. Like, I've given you my opinion. Hey, if you got a YouTube channel, comment below. I want to know what you think. Just don't have me talking by myself with my buddy up here, Sackboy, for the holidays. I think it's very appropriate. But yeah, if you go to these conventions, where do you stand on the side of things? Do you absolutely need a roommate for you to go? And how many conventions do you go to a year? Because that could also just or determine if you would definitely need a roommate to help sustain this type of way. Or do you not want any strangers to room with you at all? Are you like that? And if you do get roommates, do you room stuff? Do you try to fit as many people in the room as you can? Do you keep it to the bare minimum, or do you keep it to a bare minimum, then maybe one or two more? Yeah, what type of cosplay or what type of convention personality do you have? I'm curious. Let me know. What do you think about everything I said? I really do want to start a discussion about this, but it's been over 30 minutes and I could tell my voice is starting to leave me some. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. But if you like this video, or you're a fan of video games, or cosplay, drink tests, taste tests, toys, reviews, stuff like that, then feel free to check out the rest of my channel. And if you like my content a lot, and you want to help me buy a ticket for South Carolina Comic Con next year, I also have a GoFundMe. I'll put that in the link in the description below. If you want to check out my eBay store, I will also leave a link for that in the description below. Comment, let me know that you are messaging me through eBay or whatever. Let me know you saw this video, and I will give you a personal discount. So yeah, until next time, guys, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do what you gotta do, and I will see you all in the next video, which will hopefully be addressing the weather and how I choose which cosplay or anime conventions I go to. Thank you, AWA, for the inspiration for that one. So yeah, I'm out, guys. Laters.